Hey everybody, it is Shield Maiden SA here, and it is that time again where we go ahead and we start talking about what comics I found for New Comic Wednesday. For those of you that are new to this, basically what I do is every single Wednesday I go out to my local comic shop and I see what I can do to find number one comics that are either number one as far as a brand new story, such as this one here, or the number one story arc, such as this. So that is what I do every single Wednesday. I then go ahead and read these comics and I bring them to you. I go ahead and discuss with you what I thought was great, what I thought was not so great. That way we can kind of have a discussion. If you're looking for something new in your comic repertoire, you know what to add. So we're just going to take a minute and we're going to go ahead and get this shared out to make sure that anybody who wishes to join us has that opportunity. Keep in mind, if you have any friends or comic lovers in your life, feel free to go ahead and share this video out there to your pages, to groups that you are in. Go ahead and spread the love of comic books that we love to spread here at Shield Maiden's Creative Creations. You know, that way no one has to feel like they've missed out on something fun. Like I said, it was great to have so many people tune in last night for the live giveaway. That was great. I'm just waiting to hear from one person. The only person I still have not yet heard from is Barry Ash Lawhorn Jr. So Barry, I sent you a message through Messenger about your prize. It's a pretty cool prize. And I mean, if I don't hear from you, then I'm gonna have to draw another name. Like, and I don't want to have to do that. I want you to get your prize because I think it's super cool. So bear with me just one moment. I'm getting this shared out here so that way everyone can join us. There we go. All right. Bear with me just one more moment. Alright, there we go. We've got that shared out there so that anybody and everybody that wants to get in on that conversation has that opportunity. So, the three comics that I'm going to be bringing you guys this week is I'm going to go ahead and be bringing you a Dungeons & Dragons A Darkened Wish. I really dug this one because the front of it is a character sheet, which I thought was super cool. I wish my character sheets looked this nice. Like, my handwriting isn't that good, but you know, hey. I found Stronghold from AfterShock Publishing, and this new one from Boom Studios, which is the Firefly's new story arc with Saffron. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Since this is where we ended, this is where we'll start. We'll go ahead and get started with the story of Saffron. Now, many of you remember Saffron from the films and the show. This is the very crafty country girl who ended up wedding Malcolm Reynolds after she had killed her husband. And ultimately tried to take down the crew. To find out that she was actually very wealthy and well-to-do, and people in her world had thought she had been lost because she was still married to a very rich man. This gives us a little bit more about her background. This goes all the way back to her origins, where she was living... Oh, it doesn't ever actually tell us. What it does tell us is that, you know, when this all started, you know, she was just a poor kid living on the streets. She was one of those gutter kids that, like we know, the Republic doesn't really care about. You know, she got herself into a little bit of trouble. Law knew her. You know, she saw a lot of things. She saw how the wars were being battled out in the streets. And it was only due to a series of unfortunate events that led her into the House of a Companion and the Companions Guild. And like I said, I don't want to give away too much of this because I know the Firefly fans would not want me to spoil this. But through this, it leads her through this adventure where she ultimately, the guild disbands and she has to leave. And so in that case, she has to go out to, you know, back to what she knew. You know, she had to go back into the gutters and have them help her essentially to get off world. They helped her get identification, and that way she could leave, and she could go ahead and pursue a new life. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of it for you, but of course, it does show you where she started as a young girl on the streets, to becoming a companion, to becoming her own woman, who, you know, hey, now she gets to decide which side does she fight for. Is it the Browncoats? Is it, you know, the Republic? She gets to make that choice based upon what she thinks is going to be the most beneficial. I really love the storytelling from this. This actually took me a little longer to read than normal with my comics, which I thought was amazing. But it was because the story was so rich. I mean, this is a character that, you know, it was just kind of a passing character. It wasn't Mal and the crew. And it just kind of passed along here her actual story and where she came from. So I think that's definitely a really interesting way for that to be played. And for them to write that. So, because, you know, as mentioned, you know, Anara discovered that she had been companion trained, but didn't know how. This gives us a little bit more insight into that and how she came to be a companion herself. And so, you know, it was definitely an interesting read. Well drawn, well written, you know, made me very, very happy. I'm always a little skeptical when I pick up comics that are about something that I really love, as far as a fandom, because I'm never sure just how far down the rabbit hole are they going to go, and are they going to deviate too far from the story? But this one, no, I thought it was really, really great. I definitely strongly recommend it. If you weren't sure about it, pick it up. Another one here is it does also talk about Ronin Island, which we did review last week, I believe it was. And like I said, once again, another Boom Studios publication. Like I said, a lot of really great things coming out of Boom Studios right now, so if you haven't checked out some of their more recent stuff, check it out. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to move on to Stronghold. This is done by AfterShock Studios. You guys know that I have had a lot of really great luck reading AfterShock. I've really enjoyed AfterShock. And, you know, so I know that picking up their publications is always at least going to be a really enjoyable read. This one here, it starts out a little grim, though, so you may not want to read this if you're not having a good day. You know, you've got this guy here, and he's seeing everything around him and all this negativity, and he's on this bus, and there's this car accident. There's this woman screaming for someone to help her child, and she feels like she's being ignored. And finally, he gets off the bus that he's riding, just decides he's going to walk. The bus driver assumes he's just going to walk the rest of the way. And he dives into the water all the way down to save this child. Swims up to the top, gets her up to a rescuer. But of course, he doesn't grab the hand of the rescuer. He goes back, walks along the bottom of the water, until he magically pulls himself out upriver a few feet. Now, of course, you know, he's watching the news that talks about this hero that dove in and saved this little girl. And there's not any really good images of him because he's not even sure why he's able to do this. But he knows that if his picture's shown, then there's going to be questions and people are going to be probing and things that people don't want to have happen. So he's grateful that all of the pictures were grainy and nothing really saw him really clearly. Then we're taken to what looks like your average facility, where there's someone who's checking in to speak with her parents. And this is when we discover that where she's checking into is something known as the Stronghold. They're a cross between like a religion and like an agency of some sort, but basically their entire purpose is to ensure that Michael, the man on the cover, doesn't discover his purpose. Because if he happens to discover that he is this great, powerful deity, I believe they call him the primary? The primacy, sorry, they call him the primacy. If he ever remembers what he really is, then it could mean the end of the world. Now you see here, there's this woman here who is, now you see her in this uniform, but now you see her back with the people in this agency, so to speak. And they're pretty upset that she's had more contact with him than she's supposed to. Basically, the Stronghold does what they can to keep him in a neutral ground. They do what they can to kind of guide him towards, to basically try and keep him out of extraordinary situations that could potentially reveal to him or other people what he truly is. Now, this is something that, over the course of time with her working with him, she just does not feel that that is fair for him not to know. She feels that it's something that he should have the choice to make. So she puts him in a situation where he has to find out. She tells him what he is, puts him in a situation where he's forced by these big baddies here, and no matter what, he's able to defeat them. And of course, here's the next issue, shows kind of this alien figure here. So it's not 100% clear what the Stronghold is, if they're a mutant, if they're an alien race, if there's some sort of celestial being, like an angel. This is, that's more to come on that. It was great writing. It was really fast-paced. So if you're looking for a fast read, Stronghold's going to do that for you. Like I said, with Firefly, there was a lot of detail that kind of slowed my reading down. This was a good, quick read. Just enough action and just enough story to give you good balance. I would strongly recommend it. Like I said, AfterShock, you guys have heard me rave about them for a long time. I can't think of the last time they let me down. If you guys remember, let me know in the comments. I think there was one time when every publisher I picked up that day was just a big fat bowl of disappointment. So I'm sure they have. I'm sure I have picked up something and just been like, what? But this is not one of those titles. Like I said, they did a really great job with this one. Now on to Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish. I love this cover. I'm just going to show you guys the front and the back, because I think it's amazing. So here's the front of the cover. What is this? Those of us who play D&D, it's a character sheet. And this is for our level 2 fighter. Imagine that. He's a human fighter. Imagine that. Because, well, when you need more fighter in your fighter. Anyway. Then the back here is level 20 fighter. Now, I would really love to know, hey, IDW, let me know, are these really character sheets that your people are playing with? Or did you guys just happen to pick these up? Because these are bomb. I love this. I love the style of character sheet, and I love the fact that you guys use them as the cover art. I love that. So once again, this is from IDW, and this is 20 years for them, so hey, kudos to IDW. And this is a story called The Darkened Wish. It starts you out in an area called the Alaron Moonshae Isles. And as you enter the story, it enters you into a conflict. I mean, what would D&D be without conflict? Obviously, our character's a level 1 fighter, so you need more fighter in your fighter, so, hey, we're going to start out the story in this conflict. You have someone that appears to be, I want to say she might be a fire mage, or she might be a druid. I'm not 100% sure. The story isn't 100% clear on that yet. You have the twins that can open portals. You have, once again, Xander, your basic human fighter. And you have a Dragonborn. And it's not 100% clear why they are holding off a horde of angry combatants at this point, but it does take you back to how they got there. It starts off with what was supposed to be the day of her ascension. And our character's name here is Helene. She was supposed to go through an ascension trial through her ascension ceremony, but, you know, she didn't want to be stuck here in her small town her entire life. She wanted to be able to go out and embrace the world and adventure. So her grandfather helped her leave the isle that she had grown up on and loved so much to go seek further adventure. Along the way, she runs into Aidan and Xander. They're being attacked in the woods by some wolves. She comes in and helps. She tells them that she's leaving. And I get the distinct feeling that they're orphans. Or as many times in the D&D world, they will refer to them as ruffians, or there's another term too they use. But basically, they're street kids, urchins. That's the one. That's the word I was looking for. So, you know, she tells them, well, hey, I'm gonna leave. I'm going. I'm gonna go seek adventure. I'm going to join the White Sails Sailing Company. And they say, well, you know what? If you're going, we're going too. Because they'd all grown up together, so they all take off on this adventure. When they get to the boat, that's when they meet their new friends, the twins. Right down here. Who show them that they have healing powers and they can mend clothing. This is also when they meet the Dragonborn. And I'm still not 100% sure what class he is yet. But he's a Dragonborn, so he might be a fighter. So maybe there's slightly less fighter in his fighter. I don't know, because he's not basic. He's not human. I don't know what to expect. So they get to the city, and there is the Slavagant. He's a crow that is good luck, and he has lots of dripping jewels on him, which is probably why he's good luck, because he has lots of money. They go to a tavern. Some folks offer to buy them some drinks, and then they're going to take them to the White Sails Sailing Company. What have we all learned playing D&D? If you walk in and strangers offer to buy you a drink, it's a trap. You know this. You might want to roll for that. So, as they're getting ready to leave, it turns out that these people are slavers, so they're going to go and try and sell them. So, a fight ensues in the docks. They, of course, naturally break free. And that's when they all realize that, hey, we are a pretty epic raiding party. So, we should all raid together. So, you know, they got through it. And then it takes us back to the battle at hand, where you now see that the Dragonborn, who was once their friend, I'm assuming that's the Dragonborn who was once their friend, is now their enemy. And unfortunately from there, it leaves you to be continued with the next episode. So, like I said, Dungeons & Dragons, it was great. Just like any DM, it left you on a cliffhanger. So that way, you can be ready for the next session. Lots of action, lots of adventure, good banter, good dialogue, good story for the backstory telling. Up till the point where we find out that their friend is now their foe. But I'm sure there's going to be more to come on that later. So this is what I had for you guys this week. I had A Darkened Wish from Dungeons & Dragons with the lovely character sheet cover. Love it. Stronghold from AfterShock Publishing. Great story. You know, definitely a good versus evil thing, and so I think there's going to be more coming out of that. And of course, everybody's favorite crew of misfits, we've got Saffron's story here from Firefly. You know, like I said, this was really great. I'm really kind of interested to see like where this goes with the rest of the Saffron storyline. I'm kind of intrigued by that. So I'm going to probably keep picking that up just so I can see where the story goes. So guys, for now, like I said, this is what I've got for you. You know, hey, like I said, feel free to always reply and post in the comments, whether you're watching us live or whether you're joining us later. You know, post what you're reading. What kind of new comics did you find? Maybe you're finding stuff that I'm not finding. always don't hesitate to share that, or if there's something about that's coming out, but you're kind of curious about it, let me know. Mention it there in those comments below, and I can always go ahead and keep an eye out for it, or mention to my local store to put that on hold for me. So when it comes in, they've already got that pulled for me, and I can see what I can do about reading it, and we'll talk about it together. So guys, for now, this is New Comic Book Wednesday. This is going to be Shield Maiden signing out. As always, everybody, fly those geek flags high. Till next time.